I joined ABC almost 50 years ago, 1963. In those days, we had the three networks and essentially nothing else that could reach a national audience in broadcasting. You had ABC, NBC, and CBS, and if you wanted to reach a national audience, you had to be working for one of those three. News organizations did not make money. In fact, in those days, the networks used to make a ton of money on their entertainment programming, and there was both a moral, civic, and indeed even legal obligation for the networks to provide you with information that you needed to have. The Federal Communications Commission has a little line, it's called, in a section of law that is called Section 315, and it refers to operating in the public interest, convenience, and necessity. And what was understood by that was that we're going to let you guys use the public airwaves to make a lot of money with I Love Lucy and Beverly Hillbillies and all the rest of that stuff, but in return for that, you're going to put some money into your news divisions, and you're going to give the American public what every public in a democracy needs: important information that will help you make the kinds of decisions that we are confronting, for example, right now, next Tuesday. Over the course of a few years, things began to change. The networks in those days weren't making any money off their news divisions. In fact, what would happen is the news director would go to the president of the network every year and say, "Please, sir, may I have another 10, 15, $20 million, whatever it was," and that would be it for the year. But we covered the world. When I was in Vietnam in the mid-late 1960s, I was one of about 30 or 35 foreign correspondents working for ABC alone. CBS had even more. NBC probably had as many as CBS. 1968, something happened that changed the face of television news forever. It's still with us to this day. CBS put on something entirely new, something called a news magazine. It's called 60 Minutes, still with us. It's a brilliant piece of television journalism for the most part. It is as good today as it was back then, and I have nothing but respect for the producers and correspondents who put it on. But 60 Minutes did something that no television news program had ever done before. After about 3 or 4 years, it began to make money. It began to turn a profit. Advertisers realized that the American public really enjoyed watching what was on 60 Minutes, and they started lining up. And the news presidents over at NBC and ABC were called in, and they were told, in effect, wait a second, if CBS can make money with its news department, so can you. Get out there and start doing it. And so 60 Minutes begat 2020, and 2020 begat Primetime Live, and Primetime Live begat Dateline, and there was a biblical spate of begatting that went on in the television industry. Now, for the first time, we were in competition with one another to make money. And for the first time, that evil little serpent appeared in the television news industry, which whispered in our ears, you know something, if you're going to make money, you've got to get a bigger audience. And if you're going to get a bigger audience, you got to give the public what it wants. And we naively would say, no, 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 we have a mission. Our mission is to give the public what it needs. Well, yeah, that too. But give them what they want. And of course, in the late 1970s, what you began to have were additional pressures entering in. because you had our neighbors here, CNN, come on the scene, cable, satellite, the internet. Whereas before there had only been 3, now there were 30, 300, 3,000 outlets. And the pressure to produce material that would entertain you, that would attract your interest, that would cause you to watch one outlet rather than the other outlet, became greater than it had ever been before.